Hi, I'm Danny Quinn, and welcome to another episode of First Impressions. On today's episode, Liam Neeson is the jaded snowplow driver who's in cold pursuit of a drug kingpin whom he suspects of murdering his son. Nels Coxman, played by Liam Neeson, is a snowplow driver who's just been awarded with the Citizen of the Year award in the town of K-Hole, Colorado. However, his quiet life is turned upside down when his son dies from a suspected drug overdose. But Coxman suspects he was murdered and sets off on a quest for revenge, which leads him into the crosshairs of the infamous drug lord Viking, played by Tom Bateman, and inadvertently sets off a turf war between Viking and the Native American gangster White Bull, played by Tom Jackson, that will forever shake the state of Colorado. Cold Pursuit is a remake of a 2014 black comedy called In Order of Disappearance, which featured Stellan Skarsgård, and both movies even share the same director, Hans-Peter Mullins. And with Liam Neeson being involved, you might suspect that the film has been moulded into your standard Liam Neeson vehicle where he seeks out bad guys and kills them. You would be half right. Yes, you do get to see plenty of Liam Neeson killing people, and there's definitely quite a lot of badass moments in here, but this is definitely not your typical Liam Neeson movie. If you were a fan of the original and were worried that they would soften the original's blackly comedic sense of humour, that's far from the case. In fact, Cold Pursuit might honestly be one of the quirkiest and most off-kilter thrillers I've seen in years. Everything from the writing, to the directing, to the cinematography, to the editing, it just doesn't feel particularly conventional, if that makes any sense. It all feels very different from what you see in other Hollywood films. Right down to the point that the kills and violence in the film is handled in a rather quirky and unusual way, where whenever somebody is killed or is about to be killed, the screen cuts abruptly to black, and we get their name with a symbol of the cross over it. At first I did admittedly find it a little strange that they were doing this, but after a while I did get used to it, and it did become kind of a unique way of telling the story and also making every death in the film mean something. Another thing that really separates this film from your typical Liam Neeson vehicle is that he's not really at the forefront of it. Yes, he is the main character and his actions do drive the story, but he's really only one part of a much larger narrative, and there's a lot of time devoted to other characters such as Tom Bateman's Viking, who's this very aggressive, psychotic and health-obsessed drug kingpin, or Tom Jackson's White Bull, who's very much this principled gangster who kills only when necessary, or these two gangsters who are secretly having a love affair with each other, or even Emmy Rossum as this young cop who gets mixed up in the whole affair. There's a lot of characters in this film. I think it will definitely catch you off guard if you're going into this movie expecting a typical Liam Neeson action vehicle where he kills bad guys. That's not to say you don't get any of that, you still get quite a bit of it. There's definitely quite a couple of entertaining set pieces that are quite funny and entertaining and surprisingly brutal. It's definitely a blast to watch Neeson in action throughout this film, regardless of how you may feel about the guy following his recent comments. He's still an absolutely fantastic actor, and I definitely will never take that away from him. He's still very good in this film. He manages to convey a feeling of grief, frustration and anger very effectively. But a lot of this movie is also devoted to the conflict between Viking and White Bull. In fact, neither side is really aware of Neeson's Coxman for much of the movie. And I'm not sure if I've seen anything else with Tom Bateman in it, but he is absolutely outstanding in this film. He is really genuinely good. In the role of Viking, he's just an absolutely imposing, dominating and terrifying presence every time he's on screen. Even when he attempts to show a much softer side in his relationship with his son, whom he's ostensibly trying to mold to be just like him. The movie has so much going on throughout that it does tend to feel very overstuffed, especially when it comes to its characters. And easily the biggest casualty of this is Laura Dern playing Coxman's wife, who appears sporadically throughout the first 40 minutes and then just completely exits the film, never to be seen again. It's a real waste of Dern. And while Emmy Rossum does get more to do as this young by-the-book cop who's trying to get close to Viking, even she really just kind of drops in and out of the movie whenever the film sees fits. And that overstuffed nature also carries through to the film's plots, because it can get really convoluted at points. Part of the problem is that the screenplay covers so much material and so many plot threads that it just simply can't be told within 2 hours. This movie would have fared a lot better as a mini-series, something akin to Fargo or Twin Peaks. And that would have allowed the filmmakers to really flesh out the story, especially since the pacing and structure feels very erratic. It honestly feels like it was meant to be a TV series but was then condensed into a feature film at the last minute at points, it really feels like a film that's caught between all these different worlds. It's trying to be a blackly comedic revenge thriller, it's trying to be a rather quirky gangster epic, and I think it either needed to tighten itself up a bit, or it needed to stretch itself out across a much wider canvas. Either option honestly would have been preferable if you ask me. Cool Pursuit at the end of the day isn't a bad film by any means. It's definitely an entertaining watch. I enjoy the humour, the tone, the set pieces, the performances, and quite a few of the characters are definitely entertaining. But I feel like the opportunity for a much stronger and more interesting film has been somewhat missed. It's overambitious and overstretched to a fault. It's certainly a very all-over-the-place film, but when it works pretty well, and I consider it quite a good film overall. I'm gonna give Cool Pursuit a light 7 out of 10. It doesn't quite come together as satisfyingly as it should, but it does largely work and it's leagues above dross like the Taken sequels. And if you're into Fargo or Twin Peaks or stuff of that nature, I think there is still plenty of stuff to like about this film. There's still plenty for fans of films and shows like this to chew on. So Cool Pursuit, have you seen it yet? If so, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe to my channel while you're at it. If there's anything I can do to improve my presentation, do let me know. I'm always happy to hear feedback as long as it's somewhat constructive. If you want to follow me on social media or support me on Patreon or check out my website, links below down in the description. And until next time, I'm Danny Quinn, and I hope you have a pleasant evening.